By the way, hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Stanley. Welcome to the studio. eaJ.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello. Pleasure.
I didn't introduce you as that last time you were here.
Yeah, I was Jae of Day6.
Two different people?
I don't know. I feel like at the core they're the same human, but probably just different types of ways of certain things. Just similar but different, I would say.
How so?
I feel like before there was a standard to which I was supposed to speak to, and now I'm just kind of talking with whatever comes into my head.
Interesting. So what parts of being an idol are
Yeah.
positive that have stuck with you?
Well, I think things aren't ever like, and I know it's going off tangent from what you said, but it's never negative. It's just different. Culturally, it's different. But now to answer your question, sorry, what was your question again?
I mean, is there anything positive that you acquired as a skill while being an idol that you still use today? Probably a lot, right?
Working incredibly hard. The rigorous schedule. And I feel like a lot of people underestimate this. The schedule of an idol, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is strenuous. You don't really sleep. You kind of just get up, go do your thing. You wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. You go to a shop, you get your makeup and hair done, and then you go to a place to record for, I don't know, about 30 minutes, but you're waiting like 9 hours to record the 30 minutes. And like you can't really sleep because if you sleep, then your voice gets locked and you can't sing your songs, and it's really strenuous, and there's a lot of hard work involved in that. So I think I've learned to just kind of grind, and I have like press days now where people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing 9 hours of interviews," and I'm like, "This is cake."
They have no idea.
This is okay. I am okay with this. Yeah.
Is it a shock at first to go from going at 150 to going to just at a 90-mile-per-hour pace?
Yeah, I mean, I think the scheduling and the timing and all that stuff feels very different. And sometimes I've been doing that for so long, or I was doing that until about 2.5 or 3 years ago prior, for so long that it had just become second nature and almost felt normal. And now I find myself at home, like just writing a song on like a MacBook at like 2 p.m., drinking a coffee, and I'm just like, am I being lazy right now? And yeah, I'm just in that constant struggle.
I understand that a little bit, right? Like
Yeah.
the old thing that we used to do, it was very laborious. Like it was very intensive.
Yeah.
And it was like every day was like a 12, 14-hour day. It was
Yeah.
rigorous. It was very strict to a schedule. And if you stepped quite literally a second out of line, it could throw everything off.
Yeah, it's the anxiety factor that really gets to me now, I think. It's like, am I not working hard enough?
I think that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you go from being at 150 miles per hour to like cruising at 90, but 90 is still pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, yes, in a perspective, it's just hard to fathom sometimes because it feels so different.
I mean, dude, you came with just one person today.
Thanks for having me.
No, duh.
I appreciate it.
But the last time you came, I think there was probably, I mean, we didn't need security lists back then because our show was the entire building, but you must have traveled with 30 people.
Yeah, the crews were much bigger, and now they're much smaller. And I think there's pros and cons to either or, but I don't even know what I prefer, to be honest. I think they both have pros.
Tell me them. What are they?
Well, pros of having a big squad is kind of like everything's taken care of. Like you kind of have an outfit for that day. You don't have to really worry about that. You have hair and makeup done, so you don't really have to worry about you looking good. Sometimes even when you're talking, like the company will take care of back end, like, oh, can we snip this out? Can we snip this out? Can we talk more about this? And they'll like go over the questions and stuff and figure out what works and what doesn't. For me, now that I'm solo, I just kind of have to do everything on my own, which is kind of scary a little bit because I'm so used to a system where I was kind of given like a syllabus, almost like a bulletin point guide on you can do this, do this, do this, do this, and then you're good. And that's kind of beautiful in a way. I didn't always think this, and I thought it was kind of limiting in a certain way. But I mean, the more I've been solo, the more I'm realizing, man, those days are kind of sweet because like there's less thinking and less brain usage involved.
But also, could you make the case less being yourself?
Possibly so. I feel like there is an avenue to be yourself, even within the syllabus and guidelines. Because even if you say something else, and it's not like they tell you verbatim what to say. It's like, let's try to avoid talking about this. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Let's for sure mention the new EP and the new project. So, I mean, it always, no matter what you say, even if you have a syllabus, it comes off as you. But yeah, I think it's just not having the structure now. Kind of like scares me sometimes to even be here. I'm scared to death.
No, really?
A little bit.
Dude, we have amazing music to discuss.
Thank you.
And do you think you could have made the music that you're making today within the confines and structure of what you were a part of?
I think there would have definitely been a lot of elements of it, but it's like, I think it's different because it's like there's a whole team to discuss like what the next look is going to be or what the next concept is or all that stuff. And then you're kind of just, I think you're given a thesis and then you make music on the thesis. But now it's also a double-edged blade because now I'm sitting here like, so what is my next EP going to be about? And then my managers are calling me like, so what's the concepts visually? What are the color palettes? I'm like, I don't know.
But you have, so are you thinking about your next EP when you really have just this one that's on its way?
Oh, my next EP's done.
September 26th. It's coming out.
That one is this EP. The next EP's done after that.
Okay, so wait, hold on. You have an EP that's coming out in September.
Yeah.
And then you have another EP after that.
Early next year.
That's done already.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I move fast.
You're
ADD.
you're cooking.
A little bit.
Dude, it's giving the idol in you. Right? Like, how many albums a year do you need, brother?
I guess, now that you mention it, I guess that work ethic really does come from that where like I have to be doing something productive. And it's not just the work that you're doing productive, because I know a lot of people talk about the journey along the way. But it's like, for me, there has to be good results. So like, I'm really happy with the EP after this one too.
By the way, the music's fucking amazing.
Thank you.
It's really good.
I appreciate that, man.
Can we talk about Mad first?
Yeah.
Great song. Great song. The breakdown, where does that come from?
The outro breakdown?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. That's, well, I guess I've always just been in the sphere of like alt pop. So there's like elements of alt pop that I wanted to put. Mad is kind of alt poppy, but leans more towards like mainstream pop for me, at least in my perspective. And I think the producer Inverness that I was working with, he kind of sensed that, and he was like, "Why don't we try this?" And he just threw it on there, and I was like, "That's perfect."
The saxophone, is that like a sax or a horn? What is it?
It's a distorted, it's a pitched down guitar.
What?
Yeah,
Weird.
it's like pitching and like weird stuff like that.
Sick.
Yeah.
When you go into the studio for that record, do you go in with an idea? What do you go in with?
Well, usually I go in with either a thesis or like a reference. Usually the thesis is like a line. And then for that song specifically, it kind of happens either in the shower or like on the walk to my car to the session. And I was just humming to myself like, I'm still mad. Dead to me, it's so bad. Should be dead to me. And like, I just kind of hummed that first part and I brought it and I was like, I think this is a verse idea. And then in the room that day, we had Salem, amazing, ridiculously talented
She's so
songwriter.
good.
She is so good. Like those stories, I hear stories all the time about these amazing writers that'll come into a session and like hear the story, they'll talk about it and they'll be like, all right, I'm gonna take 10 minutes and then go into the corner of the room and then like you just kind of hear them in the distance being like, nah, 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 nah. They come back and the song's done.
That's her?
I feel like Salem is one of those people, just enormously talented. And then with the help of Inverness also, and we just kind of went in there. I went in there with the thesis and the song was done in like an hour, I think.
So is Salem a part of most of the songs on the EP?
She's part of Burn and Mad.
Great.
2 songs on the EP.
So have you? Are you setting up these rooms for yourself, or how do you set up your sessions?
So like the LA space, as I'm sure you know, kind of works as there's like this phase when you first come to LA called like, I think a lot of people call it the speed dating era of where you just get into a lot of different rooms and start writing songs and see who you mesh with the most. Unfortunately, I found some people that I mesh with but couldn't keep working with because they moved away or like and like other like technical difficulties, I think. And I've just been speed dating ever since. So I'm just thrown into different rooms every week.
Do you like that?
Honestly, I kind of wish that I could find people that I connect with. And I think there's always going to be producers where you can sing a melody in a song and be like, I think the guitar should be like major, like in this key and kind of like this, and they'll get it instantly. I think Inverness is one of those people. I think I'm slowly finding that team again.
The EP that's coming in January.
Yes.
In addition to the EP coming in September, is there like a connection between the teams that worked on both?
I mean, there are definitely repeats, but to my knowledge, I believe there's no correlation, at least for like producers and writers, other than me, I guess.
Hey, you're the connecting tissue.
I guess that's cool.
Are you setting out with this, like, to tell a story with this EP?
Yeah. Well, the story of the EP talks a lot about When the Rain Stopped Following Me EP talks about my mind state when all of that went down. And it's just something that's been stuck on my mind since. Like in my lead song for this EP, When the Rain Stops, I have a lyric line that goes, "Sorry if I owe you apologies, I'm a little backed up, disappointed in people who show me nothing but love." And then I feel like without getting into like the whole story, I think a lot of people will start to understand the perspective of that and why that means something.
Are you talking about your relationship with like the music you were making before? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I think it's just talking about like the situations that led all the way up to me leaving the band.
Day6.
Yeah.
Why was that an important story to tell?
I think so until now, and a lot of people that follow me know about this, I always thought that writing specifically and writing quote unquote in a way like super honestly puts you in the confines of a box, because once you start writing the song with a very specific narrative, the lyrics not only kind of get watered down or not watered down, but narrowed into a point where other people can't relate. It just sometimes puts you at a wall where you're out of ideas because they don't relate to the specific topic and the specific situation that you're talking about. So I was always a firm believer in you write your top line first, or you write your track and then you write your top line on top of that, and then you throw words at the wall until it fits and feels like a song. And with this new EP, I've kind of delved into the whole system of like let's just fucking be honest. And I think there's a lot of lines that really show you kind of like how I feel about how everything went down. Like the second verse, and please stop me if I'm going like...
You're good.
Oh yeah. If I'm going too far in, is I've had this imposter syndrome, and not just that, but I think a lot of people on the internet, especially in the K-pop realm, aren't really too fond of me. And I've had this sentiment because like all my life I've just, I don't know, I grew up with not too many friends, had really bad allergies. So like, you know, when you're kids, you're like, ew, nasty. Like he's blowing his nose all the time. And
no, it alienates you.
It kind of does. And it felt bad because I didn't have too many friends. And I've always wanted, because of those kinds of situations, my only aspiration in life was just to be liked by people, I guess. And just to, you know, have friends and stuff. And the second verse of When the Rain Stops goes, maybe I'm just really an animal. Maybe everyone's right. Having trouble believing that I could be a good guy. And that's kind of like, I kind of feel like maybe everyone's right. Maybe I am just like this garbage human being that like, I don't know. I don't know. I just go back and forth, but it's in my head.
We have to unpack this. Okay. Because by the way, it's most people's quest to be liked. So you're not like, don't feel alone in that or feel like you have, those thoughts are out of place. Very much in place.
Yeah.
Second, is the internet gaslighting you into believing something that is clearly untrue or questioning your own character?
No, I wouldn't say gaslighting, because I've definitely made a lot of, I think, mistakes while in my career in Day6. I think a lot of that time I was very angry at not anyone but like the label and the entity that was the chain of command that I was in. But because, I don't know, the more that I think about it these days, I'm starting to realize more and more that I projected that anger to people that were in specific situations where I was already angry from something, and I don't think they deserved that, and I was just a little immature. And also there were other factors, but I'm not trying to make excuses for myself. I just think I could have done things a lot better.
What do you feel like you did so badly that the internet really holds you accountable for?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of things, but there was one specific time where I was Twitch streaming, and then there were some people who came in to the Twitch chat, and they were asking me where another group from my label was. And then I remember just being like, do I look like the fucking manager? Like, how am I supposed to know? But I could have said that in a way more like, hey, like, I'm me, I'm not sure. Because I like their music too. So it's like, and then that spun out into a web of, oh, he hates that group. He hates K-pop. I'm just like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
Well,
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, but yeah.
You can't beat yourself up for it.
I mean, I feel bad because I feel like genuinely I could have handled that a lot more maturely. There's a lot of details and facts that go into this. And once again, I'm not trying to excuse myself. So that's kind of where I put it. I could have handled that differently, is how I think.
Of course. By the way, that's accepting it. That's a mature thing to do. That's the right thing to do.
I think I'm trying. There's still parts of my head that are like, but this, but that. And I'm just like, I think I'm slowly starting to learn that.
I think it's really interesting, man.
Yeah.
You were in a rock band and you were super young and still growing up. And like those two things are like, dude, they're counteractive to the system. Like rock in its essence is anti-establishment.
Yeah. I think the situation too, and the reason that I'm really trying to accept that it is really partially my fault, not even partially, it is my fault, because I wasn't young then. But then the thing is, when all this stuff happened, I was like 27, 28, I believe. 27, 28. So I was like fully like grown up. But when I came to America, I realized that I never really mentally grew up from 18. And that was the age that I kind of went there.
Yeah, you were frozen.
Yeah. And then like I tried to learn a whole different culture and kind of felt crazy sometimes because things are different. It's not wrong or right. It's just in different parts of the world, people view things in different perspectives. And in the beginning, I was in my very closed-minded bubble mind of the community that I grew up in, as in these morals are right and this is wrong. And therefore you are wrong and I am right. Little did I know that. And I think I was just too stupid, too ignorant to understand that in different parts of the world, it's very gray. And things are okay and things are not. Things are okay in Korea that aren't in America. Things are okay in America that aren't in Korea, vice versa. But yeah, I just wasn't able to understand that and grasp that fully. I'm starting to now.
And by the way, it's okay that you're doing it at a delayed pace because like, I don't know, dude, you went there when you were 18. That's a shell shock.
That's
a culture shock. That's an everything shock.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a thing.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Do you remember the real reason that pushed you into moving and taking on being an idol?
I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, but I'm pretty sure I was very religious back then, and I still believe in like a God somewhere, whatever it is. Just kind of grown a little bit distant from the church. But regardless of that, I think it's because whoever that figure was, I was partying a lot in college. And I think he was like, you're going to ruin your life like this, so I'm going to send you somewhere else. And he did.
He sent you to Korea.
I think he did. And I learned a lot of lessons there. And I learned I was really lazy, much lazier. I'm still lazy now, but much lazier when I was younger. And I think he kind of taught me work ethic. He put a lot of things into me.
But think about this. Like you go from one extreme to another extreme, and then years later to another extreme.
Yeah.
All within like a decently, not a super long period of time.
Yeah. It's a
lot of lives.
That's actually an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I'd never considered that. I might actually steal a piece of that.
Sure.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, just talking. What are you thinking?
What did it feel like mentally being in a successful group, which is something a lot of people want to be a part of, but like inside you're like, something doesn't feel right here?
I don't think necessarily it's like something that didn't feel right. I think I was always conflicted with like cultural differences, mostly on a morality scale, I think, for me. Because like, I don't know, in America, like for example, I think something that's widely understood is like, in America, you're taught to question everything and kind of be a rebel. Like you make your dreams happen. It's all about like you. At least that's kind of I know that's worded very poorly, but like I'm just gonna as general as I can. And then Korea is very about team and being together and taking responsibility together. And like even a small example of when I first got there was like one person would do something bad and then like we were put on hold for like 6 months and I was like, why us? I didn't do anything. But I think I'm slowly starting to understand like why that happens and why that works the way it does.
Why?
I think it makes sense. Because
what are you realizing?
Because I think I'm realizing that it's not. I think the morality there is it's not all about you. It's about us as a collective. And if one person messed up, then it's the same. It's the equivalent as everyone messing up. And we should have been there to help him or help that person make the better choice, but we weren't. And therefore, we're collectively being punished together.
Did that push you to want to be a solo artist because then you couldn't blame anybody but yourself?
No, not at all. I left because of various other reasons. And I think it's very public knowledge that for a long time, there was a lot of discrepancy and a lot of friction between me and like the label.
Do you regret that?
Honestly, I don't regret those things. I just regret how I handled it.
Oh, so you write a song about wanting your 20s back. So if you had them back,
Did you hear that one?
I mean, I know that it exists.
That sounds messed up. Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing differently?
What do you mean?
If you had your 20s back?
Oh, I think I would. So I was very much a believer in like pushing and working hard, and even if people didn't like it and it came off the wrong way, that I would try to do my best to promote the project that I was in at the time. And like an example of this was I had a YouTube channel. And it's crazy the hurdles that I had to jump to make this YouTube channel. This was back in like 2016 when vlogging was taking off everywhere around the world. I saw it in America and it hadn't really reached Korea yet. And I was like, hey, this is a really good opportunity for some PR. I'm going to do this. And at first they were like, you're crazy. You're not doing that. And I was like, all right. And I made a 30-page PowerPoint. And I ran around to like different divisions because you know like labels have like marketing, SEO. I ran around to different divisions giving my pitch. Eventually they saw that I was relentless and not going to give in. So I did it. And then it did well. It did really well. I was averaging like 1 million views a video in Korea.
Sick.
Yeah, which is really cool. And I feel like that helped. It might have not been the biggest help, but it definitely, you know, helped us promote a little bit and help us push towards the international market base. And they really didn't like that. So they shut that down. So do I regret doing those kinds of things, going against their will, getting on their bad side, causing friction to promote our brand? No. But I regret kind of like the ways that I went about it because I was immature. I was very angry. And yeah, I think there were a lot of conversations that could have gone differently and that I could have been more level-headed.
You know what? I got to give you a lot of respect. Like, by the way, I worked in a very similar structure when I was super young for a long time. Like at big corporations, like radio companies, like Nickelodeon, Viacom. And like I would do the same thing. Like if I felt, even here, like in Amazon, you should ask anyone. If I feel really passionate about something, I repeat the same shit over and over again. Do I not?
Yes, he does.
And I'll say it to everybody. And I, you know, maybe I should do what you've done, which is like go back in time and like look back at how you handled business practices and like be introspective and like really examine it.
Yeah.
I haven't. I think it's really brave that you're doing that and then putting it all into music in a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
That's really brave.
Thanks, man.
And it also allows somebody to learn as they move forward. But also at the same time, like, you can't also like hate on your passion. Like, you believed in something very hard and it paid off because like you were averaging 1 million views a fucking video. But
yeah, I think I'm just like morally confused because of all the results that happened because of it, because of all the bad things, and because of the culture shift dynamic that I've had to go through from cold to hot, back to cold, and like the reactions that I got online, and I just it's hard to understand what's really correct and not anymore. So that's kind of why I've been thinking so much about everything for the past like 4 years, I think.
so why would people blame you for anything?
I think it's like a lot of people were upset that I was bringing a lot of drama to like the group with like me being outspoken about a ton of things. And honestly, once again, did make a lot of mistakes separate of that. And I felt bad for those things, but I think I Want My 20s Back is kind of like, there's a bunch of people that I wrote it about. But I think the main thing is it hurts because I see people trying to erase me from the history of that band when I've written a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
I've spent my 20s there, and now I'm just being erased. And like, I respect them fully, and I truly genuinely wish them the best, and they are going to be on top of the world, and they kind of already are. They're doing amazing. And I'm kind of, I don't know if I have the right to say this, but I'm like really proud of them. But besides the point.
Why would you not feel like you have the right to say that?
Just because, I don't know, so many people think I like, yeah.
Oh, it hurts you.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's something. Yeah.
Oh. Explain that.
Explain why.
Oh, I feel so bad.
No.
Because it is
don't feel
something
bad.
you built, and you clearly people feel like the perception is one thing, but your intent is something totally different.
Yeah. It's It's something. Yeah. I just don't want to cause them any more trouble.
Why would you?
Yeah.
I have this
Sorry.
feeling that
Sorry.
you feel like you've done something way worse than you've done.
Nah. It's,
No?
I don't know. It's just I don't like being a burden on people, and I feel like I've caused them a lot of burden. And I truly only wish them success. So that's where I'm at.
Does this weigh on you as you go and make your own music?
It's funny because I tiptoed a lot when I first came to America around sorry, my apologies.
That's okay. Don't apologize.
I tiptoed a lot around making music that sounds like the genre that I was involved in before. And yeah, so I tried a bunch of different stuff. If you listen to my earlier eaJ stuff, I lean more into like R&B. I lean more into like alt pop. And I really tried not to touch like straight rock. And yeah, it definitely does, because I don't want to step on any toes, so I tiptoed around it. But as of late, I'm starting to realize, like, hey, you lived that life and you had that journey, and you lived that life and you were in that path because you loved that kind of music. And recently, with this EP, I've started incorporating more of like the sound that I really love and that my heart yearns for, which I wouldn't necessarily say is their genre, but it has elements. And coming back to rock is like alt pop rock. I think I feel more real putting that stuff out. And I think the fans also, the people listening, have also realized that there's a big difference of honesty in these two different genres that I've been doing.
The EP's great. I haven't listened
Thanks.
to all of it. I've listened to what's out. But you should be really, 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 really proud of it.
Thank you, man.
More than anything. You should be proud.
I appreciate that very much.
Can we talk about Friendly Fire?
So that I actually wrote 2-ish years ago. And that was the song that I wrote with, once again, Amazing Rooms. Thank God. Bless Coulter Reynolds, my publicist, for getting me into those rooms. But yeah, York's always been a good friend. And we just went into the room, and that was York.
He's so great. He loves you.
York and Odegaard.
He's so great. That's so funny. I remember when you wrote this song. I remember running into him at some party, and he talked to me about it.
Yeah.
He's very happy. Wow, that's crazy.
York was a good friend that I was introduced to. He was the first American producer that I like worked with and was introduced to, because at that point I had a song that I had wrote for a festival, and at that point I was still in Day6, and Sean was a good friend of mine from 88 Rising, and then he gave me this amazing slot with 0 songs released on Spotify. He gave me 6 p.m. sundown main stage at the Rose Bowl. So I was just like, what is happening? And I was like, I need to write some songs for this. So I wrote some hype songs, and that song was Car Crash. And that's kind of how I met York.
Record.
But yeah, anyway, our relationship, like we were, I think we're more friends than like work associates. We do work every once in a while, but not very often. But when we do, we make some heaters. And Friendly Fire was one of those.
So why was this song perfect for the story you were telling now?
I think this song, it's probably the only song on the EP that was written way, way before. And I felt like it kind of connected to the whole story of Friendly Fire, of not wanting to hurt each other and loving each other, whether the listener can see that in a relationship perspective or family perspective, a group perspective. And you have love for each other, but sometimes just things just don't work out. And it's just friendly fire. And you wonder at the end of the day, like, how did we end up here?
Interesting song to write while you were actually still in the group.
I was not in the group.
You
so
weren't.
This was
you
2
just started
years ago.
working with him when
Yeah,
you started, got it.
I just got it.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, when the EP's out, it's going to be waiting for you on Amazon Music. You can click the link below. When the rain stopped following me. Stops. No. When the rain stopped following or stops?
So the song is when it's confusing. It's when the rain stops, but the EP is called When the Rain Stopped Following.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
take it
where-
back.
Well,
So
no,
you guys
Take
were
it
both
back.
correct.
I got it.
That's
Fucked.
where I
No,
got
but
confused.
yeah, but I'm talking about the EP title, so I was right. So
Okay,
tell me
yeah,
I was
you're
right.
right. You're right.
Thank
You're right
you
about the
so
EP,
much.
not
You
the
guys are
song.
Jesus, I read it correctly.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Wait. So this is in a trilogy, Insomnia.
It was, and then this is a brand new start to it.
Understood.
So like, yeah, the whole I collaborated with my friend who does webtoons, if you know what that is, like comic books.
Cool.
But we wrote
Cool. That's
yeah.
cool.
We wrote a narrative of a person, and this is all going to be explained on tour, and it'll all make sense after the first show and once that leaks. But there's a narrative of a person who's just living their life, and all of a sudden a rain cloud comes over them, and it like follows them in everyday life to the point where their water bill's 0 because they don't need it. They water their lawn by walking through it with the rain cloud just wetting the grass and giving it the water that it needs. And it just disappears one day.
Interesting.
It's a weird narrative. I'm kind of weird.
I
about
know.
myself. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you go from being sad to happy or something along those lines, right?
exactly.
So you've really taken. You still abide by this like concept of having a concept, right? This strategy of having a concept.
I think it's important. Yeah, because I feel like the music is obviously the most important thing, but I kind of want to give my audience or the people that listen to my music something deeper than, oh, this song slaps or this song bangs. Like, come to a show and hear the narrative and hear the story and the perspective that went around to building the songs. I don't know. I've always enjoyed that as a listener, so that's what I'm trying to do for everyone else.
It's working.
I appreciate that.
The music's good.
Thank you, man.
You like it?
Yeah. I've also heard you say you don't like your voice.
I hate my voice sometimes.
What about your voice? Though you're like, I mean, it's been very successful for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I have to give a lot of credit to the producers who come up with the amazing vocal chains. But when I sing, especially like my belty notes, I do like this thing a lot that I just can't stand. I hate hearing that. Like the higher notes, I like push more, and I don't really project like in the perfect classically trained way. So it goes like, oh, a lot. And
What?
I hate that. It's a personal thing.
I've listened to your music. I haven't heard that once.
haven't heard
dude.
that
Thank you.
either.
I
I
appreciate
didn't hear that anywhere.
I appreciate it.
Whatever the fuck that was. I didn't hear that on any records.
Thank you, man.
Do you avoid singing like that on songs so you don't have to listen to it?
I try to, but the thing is like I push my range a lot in a lot of my music where I feel like I wasn't. So everyone is born with like, I think a certain, I don't know what you call it. Anyway.
Vocal range?
Yeah. Everyone's born with a certain structure of their voice. And like that tells you how far and how low you can go. And with training, obviously it extends, but not much, I would say, as in my experience. And I try to push that a lot just because I feel like, oh, you know, this song is great, but it would really hit if it hit this one note and it would really tug at that heart chord. And I kind of just, in my head as a songwriter, I have to hit the note. So even if this doesn't allow it, I kind of just push it, and that's where the goes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Listen for it. There's a link below. Right where you left me.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Understanding, you know, the larger context.
Yeah. That was, the whole song is kind of just based on the perspective of someone having to leave on a personal journey and the other person saying, hey, I'll be right here, right where you left me when you come back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who's that other person for you?
So it was actually written in a flip perspective.
You're waiting for someone.
No, someone was waiting on me.
Yeah. Who's waiting for you?
It's a personal story, but there was a whole thing to that I really haven't shared too much anywhere.
You don't need to.
I appreciate you, Zach.
I'm not gonna force anyone to say anything.
Thank you, man. But yeah, it's a very personal story for me, and I think I wrote it in appreciation because I remember them packing their bags, and then I thought nothing of it because everyone was so angry at that time. We were both angry, and then I remember moving and packing bags, and it'd been a long time since I packed bags while moving. After that, like way after that, and I was like, this is horrible. I can't imagine what that must have felt like doing it in that circumstance.
So somebody was leaving you, and you paid no mind to it. And then when you were moving your own stuff, you realized how emotional it is.
Well, I was leaving them and they were moving out.
Oh, got it.
And it's like,
Damn.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Life? No,
I'm
it
sorry
happens.
I haven't been able to like.
This is good.
This
It's fine.
goes perfectly.
You literally speak your truth, however brief or long it may be. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, fuck. Can't force anyone to say anything. Also, like, I don't. Also, I'm just figuring it out as we go, dude. I don't know. Like, I'm expecting nothing. I have zero expectations.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, listen to the EP. It's waiting for you. Also, there's another EP coming in January, so you should come back and hang again.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a good one too. So I'm excited.
And it's done already.
A lot of it is done. Just has to go into mix and stuff. Yeah.
Burn's a great song, by the way.
Thank you.
Really fucking good.
Salem killed on that one too.
You guys sound good together.
It's so funny because we were in the studio that day and she wrote a verse and I wasn't exactly sure what the pockets were yet because she had just written it. And then I asked her to do a scratch and then she did it. And then Vernus heard it and was like, you should just be on the song.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, Vernus. I texted him after. I was like, thank you so much.
She's so good. Also, another underrated record from you is Pac-Man. I know it's short, but it's really good.
Thank you. That was one that I wrote during like COVID and I released it like 3 years later and people still like it. So
That's
I'm really
so good.
thankful. Thank you.
You should try it out. Listen to it all on Amazon Music. What are you thinking?
Are Voices and Forest ever coming out?
Ooh, Voices is actually going to be on the EP after this one. So on the one that's coming early next year. Forest is I've been trying to figure it out for a long time, but there's been some like back end issues. But hopefully that can come out soon.
Have the K-pop community, have they forgiven you, or do you think some of them have still turned their back on you?
Oh, I don't think so. I just saw a comment yesterday that was like, so there was this weird rumor going around. I don't know where it came from because I've never said anything along those lines, but it was like, oh, Jay is rumored to come back to Day6, which is absolutely not true. And I just read a comment saying, get that ugly monkey out of here, or something like that.
About you?
Yes. I'm just like, what did I do to you?
You gotta not pay it any mind.
The thing is I've been doing this for like 12 years, right? And I've seen my fair share of hate comments and like cancel trains and all that. It's hard for me. I don't know why. I've learned to an extent to try to ignore it and be like, there's always gonna be someone that hates you. And even if I say that out loud, it just kind of hurts when I see stuff like that. I'm just like, ouch. Like, really? Why?
I get it.
Well, it's one of those things where you get 100 good comments, you're going to pay attention to the one bad one.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where my head's at.
Do you regret the decision at all of leaving Day6 or choosing to part ways with them or whatever it was?
I mean, at some points, yes, but I think it took me a while to understand. After living in Korea so long, I got so used to that culture that I kind of forgot ideals and beliefs that I had before. And in the beginning, when everything went down, I think there was a piece of me that said, maybe you shouldn't have left. But now that I've come back and like fully assimilated and like kind of gotten to relearn myself and like relive my ideals, I think that was the correct choice.
You definitely lost yourself. You have to lose yourself to enter into a group like that, at least a little bit.
Yeah, losing yourself is one way to put it.
Pausing yourself.
I think it's learning a new self.
It's
learning a new self. And it was definitely interesting. But yeah, it was a thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I should say this. I probably just shouldn't say it. It's fine. I don't want to piss people off. That's the only thing, man.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah, I just really don't want to piss people off.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I did see the internet had a kind of mixed reactions to Day6's last EP. It's called Forever. And how did you feel about that? Forever, F-O-U-R. Those are now forever.
Can I just be really honest?
Yeah.
It kind of hurt.
I would expect that.
And that's like I understand. It's like they had like this whole analysis and this story behind it, but I mean, like in my head, it's hard for me to like watch any Day6 stuff just because like I don't know, it reminds me of a lot of stuff. For a long time, it was hard for me to even go back to Korea because like every time I land, like there was this feeling of like anxiety and just unsettlement. I don't know what it was. It's gotten much better now. I think I've worked through a lot of it, but seeing that, and obviously I didn't know the reaction and like the reasoning that they did it. I saw that post, but my gut reaction was that I feel like they're trying to, I don't know. It felt like someone, I don't think it's the band, but someone was trying to erase me out of the history of that. And it hurts because I literally gave up my career in Korea for that team. I fought tooth and nail to promote however I could. And now that I'm gone, they're trying to erase all that. But I understand. And if that's what I'm thinking of it as is I feel like there was never any closure for them on that side. And that's not to the band members. That's more to I think the label. And if that's the closure that they need, then I guess so be it. But it's still going to hurt a little bit, you know?
Makes sense. Well, that's okay. What is your relationship like though with Korea? Because you were born in Argentina out of all places, and
Viva Argentina.
You grew up in California.
Yeah.
And you really only go to Korea, right, when it's time to become an idol.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. It in the beginning it was whimsical. It was very immature. It was hopeful. It's I just didn't have, I was naive and I didn't understand how the world works. And I went with a mindset that if I try to be an honest human being, if I try to do my best, if I work hard, then it'll work. And I got very, very lucky. I was put into a group with some amazing people who I will always truly have love for, no matter what. And I got really lucky to be in a band that kind of made it to a point where we could to arenas or do world tours and sell out 5,000 seats in Russia at a point. You know what I mean? And it was awesome. But everything that happened in that down spiral down kind of, and it still has me questioning myself. I think it's hard to put into exact words what my relationship with Korea is, but I think it was a rough time for me, and my brain like subconsciously just kind of holds that.
You get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Time will heal it, though. You know.
Yeah, I feel like I'm messing up in this interview too. I feel like people are gonna be so mad at me, but I don't know. That's just where I'm at, I guess.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
It's more than okay.
yeah.
Dude, you should take pride in the music that you're making and the story that you're telling and the life you're living now. The music's great. It really is. You should be very proud of it. And brother, you're going to be selling out your own venues, doing your own thing. Like you need to keep your eye on the prize. And also like you're telling your own story now.
Yeah.
There should be freedom and liberation in that. Yeah, pressure and stress because yes, it falls on your shoulders. There's nobody sitting next to you on the couch. There's nobody helping you make the big decisions.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like the art that you're putting out there and your story deserves to be told. And you do have the goods to make it fucking work. And you learned a lot and you're applying it.
Yeah. I
Should be proud.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Like, dude, it'd be different if the music wasn't good. The music's really good.
Thank you,
You
man.
know, like it'd be weird if the music wasn't good.
It's really nice. I've been having some crazy imposter syndrome. I've been texting all my friends like, is this trash? And everyone's like, no, it's good. But like, I can't tell because like they're your friends and your friends aren't going to tell you that your living is trash.
I get it.
So, I mean, I appreciate that coming from you. Thank you.
It's not, though. You should be very proud. And you should listen to the EP when it's out. It's coming out late September, September 26th. No, September 20th. It's going to be here. When the Rain Stopped Following Me.
Correct.
Link below. What are you thinking? You good?
Tour starts soon. We're going all over the world.
Tour starts soon. And actually, we're in rehearsals right now. I jet off on Wednesday.
Thrive.
Couple
yeah.
stops with Imagine Dragons.
Ooh, a few.
Yeah.
Bless. Honestly, thank you so much for the opportunity. That one's crazy because I have grown up in LA and I've always watched like my heroes like John Mayer or like Jason Mraz perform at the Hollywood Bowl. And I remember when I was in the band, there was an opportunity for us to play a festival there and it got canceled. And it broke my heart because that's my bucket list. That's my one bucket list with Tokyo Dome. I get to play it.
Wow.
So I'm really, really
Hey,
excited.
you're playing the Bowl or Tokyo Dome?
Hollywood Bowl.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When
It's
is
crazy.
that? I want to go.
That is
got
October
you.
23rd.
Yeah, I'm going.
I got you. I'm opening. Thank you so much, Imagine Dragons, for this opportunity. But I get to stand on the same place that John Mayer was ripping his guitar with his teeth. Like, this is crazy. This iconic to me.
It is iconic.
Yeah.
You deserve to be there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You should be proud.
I think I'm trying to convince myself to be. Thank you.
It will come.
Thank you, man.
If you want to see the tour, want to see him on the road, we'll put a link below too. Anything else?
I think we covered a lot here today.
Amazing.
eaJ. Say that right?
Yeah.
eaJ.
Just the name backwards.
I was really nervous to say it because, you know, I used to call you by a different name. So I asked Dan 6 times today how to say it. Now I say it. I'm confident in it.
I appreciate you.
I've gotten there. Thank you. I'm proud of myself. eaJ. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your honesty and your time, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't cause too many flames today.
Brother, you're a special energy and you got to stop being so hard on yourself. And I mean that, like, from the first second, like, I met you and everybody was around Day6. Everyone knew you were a superstar. Just don't be so hard on yourself and just keep being yourself. Everything's going to fall into place. You're going to be more than okay.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're fucking amazing. eaJ, everybody.